Okay, so my water is still not boiled yet, but I'm gonna take this time really quick to show you guys how my air fryer works. It's pretty simple. First, you just gotta plug it in. Also, warning, they're very loud. You're gonna wanna make sure the basket is in properly or it's not gonna work. At least mine won't turn on unless the basket is in properly. It will shut off if I take out the basket. So, put the basket in and click the start button, and then you're gonna wanna change the temperature and the time. I'm gonna use 380 degrees, and I'm gonna put it on 15, and I'm gonna warm it up for a little while, and then I'm going to cook my chicken for 10 minutes on each side. So I'm gonna cook it for 10 minutes and then flip it over, and then I'm gonna cook it for 10 minutes on that side, and I'm gonna season it while it's in here. So basically, after this is done heating up, I'm gonna heat it for 5 minutes. I'm gonna put it in the basket in here, which is just like a normal basket, but there's no oil involved. You can also spray your chicken with cooking spray to make it a little crispier. I'm not going to do that for this though. And then once it's cooked, I'm gonna put the seasoning on because it's frozen right now, so the seasoning's not gonna stick very well. And then I'll flip it over and put the seasoning on the other side and then put it back in. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. I also realized that my camera was on the wrong setting this whole time. It still is. I decided to not change it and just to see what happens. Anyways, the pasta is finished and it's right here. My mushrooms are finished cooking. I went ahead and cooked the entire package. They are sitting on the stove behind me. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna actually season my pasta. So I'm gonna put pepper in it, salt. Obviously this has like a ton of seasonings in it, but I never feel like it's enough, so I add my own as well. And my chicken's still cooking back there. Hopefully it's not too loud on the camera. So I'm put salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. These are the same things I'm putting on my chicken as well. Basil. I really like basil. I'm putting a lot of basil. And then parsley. Now I'm gonna go ahead and stir it. And I'm gonna put the sauce in while it's still hot, even though my chicken isn't finished yet. Also, if I was putting cheese in this, I would keep it on the stove to make sure that I can turn the heat back up a little bit and help melt the cheese by doing that. All of the oil in this is at the top, so I'm kind of trying to mix it up a little bit. That's way better, okay. Now I'm just gonna dump pretty much this whole thing in. There's a little bit in the bottom still, but I don't care. Enough. I'm only using one box, so this is more than enough. Oops. Also, for anyone wondering, this is the 13.5 ounce Classico basil pesto sauce, and I used 12 ounces of pasta and an unknown amount of mushrooms because I already threw the package away. So I'm pretty sure that it was like the 16 ounce package. So now I have all my seasoning and my pesto sauce in there. Also, my cook time on my chicken is actually a little bit less because I forgot that I purchased the chicken tenders instead of the chicken breasts. Since they're smaller, they cook quicker. Also, be sure that you're checking the temperature of your chicken because you want to make sure that it reaches the proper temperature. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my beautiful mushrooms that I only put salt and pepper on, and I cooked them in olive oil. There's still some oil in the pan, that's okay. We like oil here. And I'm just gonna mix those into my pasta. And you could honestly just leave it here and eat it like this if you don't want to add any meat to it. It's really good just like this. I've actually eaten it like just like this plenty of times. But I do like to add cheese and chicken into mine just to get me some protein. I don't have any cheese, like I said before. I don't have any shredded cheese, but I do have some Parmesan, and I'm gonna put that on when I eat it. So all right, I am back with my cooked chicken tenders on a cutting board, and I've got a knife right here. They're very hot. I literally just took them out. So I'm just gonna not touch them at all because you can probably see they're steaming right now. Very, very hot. You don't have to use chicken tenders for this. Really, this is another recipe where you can make it your own. I haven't tried adding other meats, but I figured that there's other meats that probably taste pretty good in this. I'm just cutting this up so that they're in bite-sized pieces. I don't really care if it looks nice because it's going to be mixed in with the pasta. This isn't a ton of chicken. I only used 3 chicken tenders because that's what I had left. I did have chicken breasts, but they would have needed to be cooked at different times. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put what I have in here. And here is my finished dish. Like I've mentioned repeatedly, cheese is really good in this. I highly recommend it. I got my Parmesan, like I said before, just some grated Parmesan. I'm gonna put that on top. Sometimes I add a little more salt too if it's not salty enough for me. Here's a close-up on my bowl. Still pretty warm. You can reheat it if you want, put it back on the stove or however you prefer. This is one of my favorite dishes to make because it has all the things that I love in it, and it's super quick. It only took me probably like 30 minutes, not even, to get this put together. It was super quick, super simple. It was really cheap because pasta's cheap. Pesto is a little more expensive. My mushrooms were under $2. The pesto was like between $3 and $4. The pasta was under $1. And the chicken for the whole bag was like $11, but I only used like 1/10 of the bag. So it's a pretty cheap, easy thing to make. And it's also really good reheated if you meal prep. Like I feed myself, so typically I have a lot of leftovers, and it's really good to reheat too. Be sure to come back in 2 weeks to see my next video. Thank you guys for watching and have a good night. Bye.